Hey, Brick Church family. Happy Monday. Um, just wanted to touch base with all of you to check in, make sure you're doing okay. This really is a strange and unsettling time. I know I mentioned that yesterday, but it's just something I've never experienced before, and it's hard to know exactly kind of what I should be doing, and I imagine some of you are feeling the same way. I was texting back and forth with my sister last night, and we were just talking about how strange it was, and she said, yeah, it's like on the one hand it's like there's nothing wrong, and on the other it's like the world is going to end tomorrow. And I'm not sure when life will or when we will resume to life as usual. It's hard to know that. When I first heard about the newest recommendation from the CDC, that when they said that groups of 50 or more should not be meeting together, I thought, well, that won't affect us. I mean, these days for morning worship, we're averaging around 120, but I thought, no more than 50 are awake and paying attention at the same time, so we should be good. And then someone told me that they still count even if they're sleeping. But then there's other situations at our church where we may not have a large group of people, but still we're together, and we're still kind of working through the best way to deal with that. But I think for now our approach is just to avoid any unnecessary contact. So we're looking at ways that we can continue our immersed Bible study in our worship services at a distance, and so just stay tuned to Facebook and your email for information about that. It will be forthcoming. And Pastor Phil and I will do our best to maintain constant contact, possibly even on a daily basis, by either posting videos on our YouTube channel or sharing some thoughts on our church Facebook page. And if you want to be sure to not miss those things, you can subscribe to our channel on YouTube, or you can follow us on Facebook. And if you need help with doing either of those things, just call myself or Catherine or Phil, and we'll try to get you set up in that regard. But I just wanted to share two thoughts with you briefly. I know you have a lot to do, so I don't want to take up too much of your time. But the first is when I was reading my Bible this morning, I read Psalm 80, and I wanted to read to you just the first three verses. Hear, O shepherd of Israel, leading Joseph like a flock. Shine forth, you that are enthroned upon the cherubim. In the presence of Ephraim, Benjamin, and Manasseh, stir up your strength and come to help us. Restore us, O God of hosts. Show us the light of your countenance, and we shall be saved. And there's two other times in this psalm where the psalmist repeats that last phrase, that restore us, O Lord of hosts. Show us the light of your countenance, and we shall be saved. And I just think, if there was ever a time for us to remember, that God is not dead, He's not asleep, He's aware of what's happening, and He cares about us and loves us deeply. And this problem, no matter how big it may seem, He's bigger, and we can just trust in Him and continue to pray and believe that He can do something mighty. He can demonstrate His power in this situation. This can be an opportunity that He can use to bring people back to Him. And so we just need to continue to remember that. And as followers of Jesus who have a relationship with God, we can really set the example. The second thing I wanted to do was to continue to encourage you to pray, but with a specific focus, and that is to pray for our healthcare workers and those who are involved in taking care of the sick. And I wanted to read something to you quickly. It's a post from on Facebook, but I know the person. He's a friend of mine. We went to seminary. We were in seminary together, and he decided instead of serving people in the church, he would serve as a physician. And so he's a physician in the emergency room at Baptist Hospital in Winston-Salem. But this is what he had to say. It's a little lengthy, but I think it'll give us an insight into what they're experiencing. He says, I don't post much, but can't sleep, and feel compelled to share a few thoughts tonight from a physician, husband, and father immersed in COVID-19. As much of the world shuts down and stays home, as you all should to help us flatten the curve and stop the spread of this virus, please remember and pray for those of us, first responders, paramedics, CNAs, respiratory therapists, nurses, PAs, NPs, physicians, etc., who still put on the uniform or scrubs and wade into this mess each day. And pray especially for our families who often have enough on their plates without the added worry all this has provided. For our families who understand that if we get sick, they will likely get sick as well. For our children dealing with fear and trying to understand words such as quarantine. Like when Annabelle, his daughter, asked me at bedtime the other night, Daddy, if you get sick, will they take you away from us? Because regardless of the risks that we well understand, we will continue to show up. We will continue to the best of our abilities to care for whomever calls or rolls through the door next. We will continue to be there for you and your loved ones if you need us. And he just goes on to give some good advice, but he closes it this way. Do not view the cancellation of events, the kids out of school, the extra time spent at home, etc., as a nuisance. See this as an opportunity to step out of our self-focused lives and do what we ought to be doing every day, not just during a pandemic. Love our neighbors. And so I think we just need to continue to pray for, his name is Brian. My sister's in a similar situation. She's a physician. She works at a clinic, but all this week she's on rotation at her local hospital. I know several members of our Brick Church family are involved in the healthcare industry. I tried to come up with a list of names, and I apologize if I forgot you, but I thought of Allison, Emily, who's, if you don't know, she's the daughter of Ronnie and Joy Isley, Debbie, Carolyn, Angela, Todd, and I'm sure there are others who are involved in some way, shape, or form in taking care of us, and so are at an additional risk. And so we just need to continue to pray for them and lift them up. I'll give you an update. I did hear Vance had surgery on Friday, and the surgery went well, and he's at home recovering. So just continue to pray for him and Susie. And if you have another a request or something you'd like to share, if you could email that to me, we'll be sure to include it every time we try to keep in touch. So anyway, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and God bless you.